everybody, and happy Saturday. Welcome to Daily Distinction for November 28th. Glad you are here. If you're watching on the replay, thanks for taking a moment to do that. And it's a beautiful, sunny, cloudless day in Las Vegas. Let's see, what is it? I got to double check here. It is 54 degrees outside right now, but just a beautiful day. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. I've been watching the Indiana-Maryland football game, and kind of interesting. One of the things I was thinking about is that, Indiana football for so many years, and I don't mean to overuse the sporting analogy, but I think it relates to what I want to talk about real quickly today. Don't mean to overdo the sporting analogy, but Indiana University football has been nothing but a joke for so many years. Do you realize of all the Division I college football teams, Indiana University has more losses than any other Division I university in football losses? Is that incredible? And now they're ranked number 12. They are having their way with a really good Maryland team. And so what's the difference? And I think it gets down to coaching, right? Tom Allen has changed the culture. Tom Allen, the coach of Indiana University, has changed everything. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm not a football fan. What does that have to do with me? Well, let me throw in another story. The Detroit Lions just fired their head coach, Matt Patricia. Interesting that they fired Jim Caldwell, former coach of the Indianapolis Colts, who then became coach of the Detroit Lions. They fired him to get Patricia, but the old coach had a better record than the one they fired to get to the new coach. Now, there's a point there about we better know where we're going if we're going to let go of what we have, right? I've used the analogy before about the trapeze artist. You don't get to the next rung without letting go of the rung that you're hanging on. But the other important aspect is this: you better know the next step that you're going to make. And so that leads me to coaching. And one of the things I wanted to mention, just as you know, it's a quick weekend check-in, is that, well, Joseph, you got it exactly right, is that leadership matters. Thank you. Good to be back. Leadership matters. And the change at Indiana University or the challenges in Detroit are directly related to the quality and the effectiveness of the coach. Coaching matters. Leadership matters. So I got just one thought about that, but let me check in with everybody here. Curtis, great to see you. Yes, great to have you here today. Thank you. Brian, always good to see you. Thanks for being here. Pam, hello. We're talking about IU, so that's all good. So hope things are good with you in Indiana. Yes, a great coach to change your life and or your team. Hey, Scott. Yeah, the boss is in Indiana, so batching it here in Vegas for a few more days. So all is good. So here's what I want to mention to you about coaching. We talked about one team that's changing the culture because of a coach, another team that has experienced greater losing because in part of the coach. I think coaching is absolutely critical. I am studying with a couple of coaches myself. I believe in coaching. I do coaching. But I think one of the things that the coach has to identify with you is what you're ready to do. By that, I mean, there are some coaches that are absolutely right to get you to the next step. And the next step is important to take. However, there are other coaches that are suited to get you to the next level. And that's important as well. Now, I think part of this has to come from, what are you prepared for? What do you desire? What do you want? Are you somebody that just wants to take the next step? And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe that's where you feel comfortable. Maybe you're excited about where you are, but you'd like to just move a step ahead. Or are you ready to take it to the next level? Now, part of what happened, it seemed to me, is that in Detroit, they had a coach that wanted to take them to the next level, but they weren't ready yet. They needed to take the next step. If somebody wants the next step and you're trying to take them to the next level, you're pulling them in a place perhaps that they don't want to go at that particular point. When Tom Allen took over coaching duties in Indiana, they said at the press conference, the goal is to get us to the next level. How do we level up? We've been close for so long. We've taken those next steps for so long. Now we got to get to the next level. So right coach, right team, right time to go to the next level. Another coach trying to go to the next level with a group that wanted only to go and needed only to go to the next step. So that's a question only you can decide, but it's something you need to ask yourself as you're considering a coach. Do I want this coach to take me the next step to enhance my motivation, to enhance my productivity, to enhance my profitability, whatever it might be? Or do I really want to go to the next level? Where you are and where you want to go and what you want to do and be, that's the choice you have to make. So, steps or levels, whatever it might be, that's where you need to decide. Brian says it perfectly here. Coaching requires the leader to focus on evolution, not revolution, right? I mean, that's the next step. Yeah. And you know, that's an important aspect as well, because I think one of the great aspects of coaching is that it builds in an accountability factor, right? I mean, as opposed to the speaker who delivers the speech and hopes that you are informed and inspired, educated and motivated through the presentation, there's systematic accountability with the coach, right? I mean, it's not like the players on the Detroit Lions or the Indiana Hoosiers are going to hear from their coach and then not see them again. You know, you're going to be back in practice. You know, there's a level of not only information and education and inspiration, but there's also responsibility and accountability that's a part of that. If you haven't gotten a coach yet, I'd certainly suggest. I know that my career and my life has benefited from great coaching. I had to be dragged kicking and screaming to the first coach that I had, speech coach, the late great Ron Arden, that really changed my skills. But it was also such a great life lesson through so many things that he taught me. So I'd recommend the same for you. All right. So just wanted to check in on the weekend. I hope your collegiate team is winning and your NFL team wins next week or wins tomorrow in next week's game, whatever it might be. And if I can answer any of your questions about coaching, if you're looking for coaching on, we've got a big announcement that's coming next week, but I'll kind of give you a preview. One of the things I keep hearing from folks is they need to be able to learn how to be able to be better at story and storytelling. And so we're going to have an announcement next week about how we can help you with that. You know, for over a decade, I was a globally syndicated movie reviewer. And I had the privilege of interviewing the top directors and the top stars in Hollywood and listening and learning to them about how they delivered these incredibly compelling stories that made hundreds of millions of dollars. And I realized there were things about story that I was learning from them that all of us in business need to know. Financial advisors and entrepreneurs and on and on. We need to be better at learning how to construct story, because story engages more than the facts and the figures are going to be. One of the biggest problems that I see for entrepreneurs, for financial advisors, is the inability to create and relate a compelling story. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It just means we haven't been taught the structure that I was privileged to learn through that decade of working with the best in Hollywood. So we're going to have an announcement about it next week, a special one-day program on what does it take to construct the story that can really make a difference for you and your business. So be watching for that. We talk about that next week on Daily Distinction. Brian, I guess you are loving life as a Steelers fan. Holy cow! What an incredible year that they are having, and whenever they play again, because the game keeps getting moved with the Ravens, keeps getting moved farther and farther away. So anyway, so coaching is critical, and we're going to talk with you next week about what you can do to be a better story constructor. Right? Look. I'll leave you with this. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'll leave you with this. One of the problems is people think you got to be a natural born storyteller. That's not true. It's just not true. I watched a movie this weekend that had some of the greatest actors ever. And the movie was boring. You know why? Because the story wasn't there. So you can be a great performer. You can be a great storyteller, But if you haven't constructed the story properly, it's not going to interest and engage the audience. So getting the process of creating a story is the most important thing that you can do. Because I've heard bad storytellers, but if the story was engaging, holy cow, you were so focused on it, tuned into it. So we're going to get that right. So that's what we're going to be talking about some next week. So I hope you tune in for that. Hey, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I hope your team wins. Unless you're a Tennessee Titans fan. I got a lot of great pals that are Tennessee Titans fans, but that's who's playing my Colts tomorrow. So I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. See, it's during the Colts game. So it might be just a really, really quick check-in. But we'll talk to you tomorrow. And then, of course, tomorrow night is the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Thanks. Have a great Saturday, everybody. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.